If I
Yep.
if
More
I
totes,
get
more sets.
if I get a child,
Yeah.
not just have if I find one, if I grab one. We're back, everybody. You didn't ask for it, but we're back. The basement is here once again. We did 46 episodes live before, and now we're no longer live because schedules. And that's why we were gone for a little while because schedules. But after 16 months, I'm back. Mara's back.
16 months, several surgeries on my part.
Several surgeries. No surgeries for me. Oh well, I did get wisdom teeth out. Well, wisdom teeth. Does that count? Is that a surgery?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and you have 4 fewer bones in your body, so yeah, that's cool. Did you keep them?
No.
Oh, I have mine in a little baggie.
That's not normal. It's not normal.
If I were at home, I would go get it and I could shake it because it makes the coolest little noise.
So the basement's back.
Yes.
No, I remember it was right after I got them out, like a week after Succession ended. So apparently the only thing I said on the way home was I was just repeatedly like, I miss Succession while crying. And that's just all I did. I was very sad about it. And then I started quoting Tom, I think.
Oh no.
As you do.
Which Tom? Like which Tom thing?
We aren't gonna say.
I got you. That's fair.
But yeah. We have different hair. I went blonde. Mara went purple.
And really I cut it all off. I know it's hard to tell kind of with the headphones on, but I'm in my short hair era, and
nice.
Yeah, I'm vibing
I am
with
too.
it.
Mine got long. Mine got really long for a while. But yeah. You're in Australia. You're in a full different continent.
It is summer. It's summer. It was 107 degrees here on Sunday.
That isn't a good thing.
Well, when we went to the beach, it was cooler because it was coastal. Because I'm inland about an hour, so
okay. Yeah.
The beach was gorgeous.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm still in America, unfortunately, but you know, we'll get out of it. So here's what the basement's gonna be. So for a while, for what we did before, we were live and we talked about random things and sometimes talked about movies. We're doing the same thing, but how we're doing the show now is Mara and I allegedly like watching movies. And
I've heard the rumor. It's been said.
You know, people are saying. So we constantly like to, you know, mention movies and then get very surprised when the other person hasn't seen them. So what we have decided to do is each episode I will be picking a movie that Mara has not seen, and Mara will be picking a movie that I have not seen. There will be very little communication pairing these movies. So the double features that we will get will not make sense really at all. It is just completely based off of whatever comes next. And we'll each be watching.
Occasionally, we might theme
Occasionally,
them.
we might theme
like
them,
we kind of sort of themed this first one just a little bit.
Kind of,
like as far as like a social commentary, a little bit.
Do we call Gods of Egypt a social? Are we colloquially referring to this as a tiny bit?
Remember, I commented on their casting choices.
Well, okay. I guess if we want to look at that as a social, yeah. The
like
white gods
a
of
microscopic
Egypt.
amount.
A micro commentary.
Yeah.
I love referring to Gods of Egypt as a social commentary.
Yeah, there we go. Just in case Jerry B is listening, I know it's not your fault, buddy.
I did put together as Gerard Butler, fully just Irish in Egypt, or Scottish. Sorry,
Scottish.
My bad. Yeah. Scottish in Egypt. But no, Gods of Egypt, the social commentary on capitalism, for real. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And then we'll also just talk about whatever else we are doing. It's been 16 months. I've done more YouTube things on my own.
Yes, you have. Do you want to talk about that?
You can watch it if you'd like. I also I also made 2 movies that you can also watch on that same channel if you would like. And I have become obsessive with Twitter, which has been bad. And I blame it on you because you provided my first tweet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gave me an addiction.
I'm sorry. You learned it from watching me.
Have you done anything notable, or has your life been boring?
Well, I mean, there have been a couple noteworthy things. Uh, I got married. That occurred.
Wild, crazy.
I
I
know,
didn't.
right? No, you were invited though, but you were
I was
busy.
invited. I was busy.
The
I
entire
have more
family
important
was
things.
invited also, by the way. Yeah.
I have more important things than your wedding.
Because your family is wonderful. Shout out to Clara.
Yes, she'll probably appear on here at some point.
Probably.
My sister. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
So
health
you did
stuff
that.
is kind of in an intermediate situation as usual, but for now, things are mostly stable. Stable enough that
Yeah.
I'm able to travel, so that's good.
To a whole continent/country.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm.
15-hour flight did not go great, if I'm being totally honest. But that's why they make doctor prescribed and following the exact instructions treatments that you can have for when you have issues flying. And I
I've never
fully
flown.
support that.
I've fully never flown.
Well, you're gonna end up doing it a lot if you end up working in film.
I know I'm going to a lot. I don't think I have that much of an issue with it. I thought that I did when I was younger. I was also like deathly scared of like elevators.
Oh,
I just
wow.
it wasn't a height. It was just like the being inside a small space. And then, but I feel like I'd be fine with an airplane. I feel like I would be.
They feel pretty spacious, honestly. Like, if the
Right.
space is the
And like I'm
problem, I
good with
don't think
elevators.
that's the
I'm good with
problem.
elevators at this point. So I feel like I'd be fine with an airplane. I've never had a reason to. So but we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge.
Yeah. I'm sure
What
you'll
else?
come out to LA and visit at some point.
For
So,
sure. Yeah. No, for sure. I speaking of I'm going to college in 7 months. So that's a thing.
crazy.
We'll do this from my dorm room at some point.
Well, yeah, I think we should also specify you are a full-blown grown-ass legal adult. You can vote
I
in this
am. Oh
year's
yeah,
presidential election. Like, you are
yeah.
grown.
Do I want to? Well, but I can and
Do any
I
of us
will.
want to?
Yeah, no, I'm fully an adult now. So that's a thing. Yeah, lots has happened.
Where did the time go?
Wild 16 months. So I did look back and see our most recent episode. You know who killed our show?
So you mentioned this right before we started recording, which we also made a habit, by the way, like a new rule. We're going to just start recording whenever we get into this StreamYard because some of the best stuff we talk about happens and you never see it.
Yeah,
So,
we're the
but
best
he
off
mentioned
there.
this and I
Yeah,
don't know who it is. So tell me.
no, one celebrity, and when I don't know, we'll give him E-list celebrity and
Ooh.
podcaster Griffin Newman killed our podcast. The last thing that we did was we watched Disenchanted with Griffin Newman, and then never again until now.
I'm going to text him and tell him that he killed our show.
Griffin Newman killed our show. I feel like we should try to get him back at some point.
I mean,
But we have
I
to
know
make
he's
sure that there's
busy,
no
but
hiatus. He's very
I
busy,
can
but
ask. I mean, I could see
we
if he
need
and Khan want to come back together
we
because we
need
have to have
Enchanted
Khan
3.
back. He's
Yeah,
hilarious.
no, we'll get guests. Well, yeah. You know who you are if you're listening to the. We'll get people back. We'll get Dan back at
Oh,
some point.
you know what we'll do?
What?
It won't make any sense. We'll have them come back and we'll do a watch along of Ella Enchanted, the Anne Hathaway movie.
which Griffin Newman has no connection to.
Exactly.
We could gaslight people into saying that he does. We could definitely convince people that Griffin Newman was an extra in Ella Enchanted.
Oh yeah.
100%. That could happen.
We could point him out as well, and I'm sure
Yeah,
someone would believe us.
someone would. At least one of you is stupid enough. So okay. Last things. I'm wearing a Tottenham hoodie, which is the football. I call it football. The football club that I've supported since I was 8 years old because I like feeling pain. I guess. I picked
Yeah.
them because they won the first game that I watched on TV because I was 8, and then since realized that they never win anything but always get painfully close. And I've since I like sharing pain with people, recruited Mara into the fan. Mara's a Tottenham fan now, and
Yep.
I've inflicted that
Yes.
onto Mara. So
Yes.
that will come up in conversation. But we love
Yes,
our
it will.
Australian manager,
Yes, we
Big Ends
do. I
Postacoglu.
actually I brought him up yesterday also at the coffee shop, and they were like, "Oh, cool." Like, they were super surprised that I knew. But yeah, so
Yeah, Big
excited.
Ange.
Uh, yeah. What a such a great coaching philosophy, and also love interviews. You guys should watch some interviews, even if you don't really care about the sport, because it's kind
He's
of like
amazing.
a give no crap attitude sort of a response to questions and stuff.
He's fantastic. We love Big Ends Postacoglu. We did that. We've been attending Sundance. We both saw Daughters, which we'll touch on briefly, and then we will get into the full show. So Daughters was, I
Which
think, for both of us, our favorite film of
hold the
Sundance.
phone one moment.
Oh,
I know we teased out that my movie was Gods of Egypt. Don't say what yours is, but my God, just just the movie that Trevor made me watch. Like, oh man, it
I broke Mara.
it like I'm not like performative. Like this is not like me like, oh, I'm on camera. Like this, I could show you screenshots of me texting him like, what is this movie? Trevor, what did you do to me? I don't understand what's happening. Like it's I just wanted to tease out that this is going to be quite something. So anyways,
Mhm.
Sundance, Daughters.
Yeah. So
Fantastic. I loved it.
to go from that to now Daughters. Yeah, Daughters made me cry a lot. But it's brilliant. Like absolutely brilliant.
Oh no.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Oh,
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 am I back?
technical issues. It wouldn't be the basement. Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, no, that movie like totally grabbed at me inside of my chest cavity area with my
Mm,
organs.
right. That's a way to describe the movie that I believe nobody has done.
I'm the first. That's a pull quote.
You're
Whenever you're getting
they're throwing
distribution,
it
everybody.
they're throwing it on the posters. Yeah, it pulled at the chest cavity like with my organs. Um
Do you want to go over what the premise is for everybody?
Yeah, so it's about a daddy-daughter dance that's being put on for incarcerated fathers, uh, and it is pretty devastating. It doesn't just focus on the dance necessarily, but it focuses on both like the deal like looking at like the fathers in their life inside of prison, in the build up to it, and then also the girls in their life, and they follow a few in particular, and then we see the build up to the dance and then everything afterwards, and it spans like 4 years, 4 or 5 years, I think. um
Yeah.
and it transcends just being about like the dance to more so just this look at familial bond and connection, and also how horrible the prison system is in the United States.
I think it's one of the
And
most human stories that I've ever seen. Like, as much as someone is like,
oh yeah,
"Oh, this movie is such a human story," like, this is a human story for sure, and it's literally a character study in a, nonfiction film because, like, you're looking at who
yes,
these people are as human beings, and it really humanizes, um, people that are incarcerated because I do think that even the most socially conscious person can sometimes think of people that are incarcerated as a mass, a singular
yeah,
mass of people, even if they think of them as, human beings. but to single them out and to really point out their circumstances and how incredibly dire it is that, like, these family bonds are severed. Like, some of the men had never met their daughters before ever, like,
And they're to allow
ever
touch
in
visits, which is
person.
ridiculously inhumane that we don't allow touch visits in prisons, like the majority of prisons since like 2013, 2014. Like I just assumed that was a thing. But
Yeah, like, I would have
yeah,
thought good behavior, incarcerated people would be able to do that, at least. Good behavior
right.
ones, certainly. Like, I
But
couldn't understand it.
unfortunately, like yeah, so much of prisons they're about punishment and intentional isolation rather than an active attempt to rehabilitate and improve these people's lives. They just see this one mark against them as just I guess permission to just treat them as less than human, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially considering that like we house like I think we have 4% of the global population, but 25% of the global prison population. Like one in
Well,
three
when it's
black
a
men are in
for-profit
prison.
system,
Like
so
right, exactly, because our prisons are making money rather than I mean, as is everything. Like hospitals are for profit rather than to just keep people, make sure that people can get the care that they're needed. And it's yeah, when everything is for profit, then you find that people will value money more than they actually value people. Which is why things probably shouldn't be for profit and privatized. Like we shouldn't have a privatized prison system. It's kind of weird. Anyways.
no, I mean, seriously though, like, one other thing I noticed is, like, you mentioned some statistics, especially, like, racial
Mhm,
cross sections. Like, in that film, they weren't necessarily like singling out a group of men that were men of color, but you
mhm,
couldn't help but notice that it was a story about men of color. It's like, well, I
mhm.
wonder what we're doing wrong in society that we create circumstances by
Yeah,
which there is a disproportionate number of men of color that may be either A, more likely to be in situations where criminal activity could occur, or that they are given disproportionately more severe punishments at trial
right.
because of a system that, deprioritizes them or has some inherent unconscious bias towards them because of their race. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
wonder why this has happened. Like, you can't help
The
but notice it when you watch it as well. The movie didn't like single out just this subset of this group. It's just the group.
Yeah. I mean, and stupid people will look at that and be like, "Oh, well, because they commit more crime." But that is an incredibly reactionary, I think, perspective on it. Like, I think that yes, you can respond to the information in front of you, but rather than just saying, "Well, this is the information in front of me, so this is how it is," I think that it is more beneficial for everybody to actively interrogate why that is the information in front of you. And if you look at it, the biggest predictor of crime is um, your current wealth, right? This is how it's been since like the Greek like the Greek Empire, right? The people who committed the most crime are going to be the people who are the most desperate and the people with the lowest economic status. So, because in America, since we live in a late stage capitalist, system, the biggest predictor of your wealth is your parents' wealth. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but that is the, most generalized predictor. So, when you have white families who have been able to accrue generational wealth, pretty consistently over the last, 2, 3 centuries, if not even longer, right? But just like within America, versus people of color who were enslaved and then not giving any reparations at any point and had to start from zero just what, like less than 200
Land in
years
a
ago.
system with like very few rights, to be
Right,
able to generate wealth or to own land or to
exactly.
climb up into a place of true equality in society. So already just starting 3 steps behind.
Right. So because of that, it isn't because they aren't, like working hard enough. And this goes for, poor people, of any race. But again, you find this predominantly with people of color because of the lack of reparations and because the lack of rights and the, again, like the enslavement that, like that's less than 200 years ago, which is not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, especially when you consider how long white families have been able to accrue wealth both in America and in Europe. So because of that, you have a lot of families that are Black or people of color that are in these predominantly poor areas, because of the lack of ability to accrue generational wealth. And because of that, it becomes this vicious cycle where it is incredibly hard to get out of, and desperation sets in, and crime happens. And especially when you over police areas and, have create this antagonistic relationship between police and civilian in these areas, that is just inviting more crime. It isn't about the people, it is about the system that is putting people in a position. Obviously, that isn't to say that they don't have free will, but it's going to be statistically, when you put that many people in a situation like that, there's going to be statistically more people that are going to end up, you know, committing crimes. And then, as you said, because of racial biases, usually being overpunished for them.
Yep. I mean, and there's so much more we could go into. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not necessarily why we're here, but just I couldn't help but notice it when I was watching though, where I was
Yeah.
like, and the film doesn't bother even pointing that out. I think it
Oh,
understands
no.
that the viewer is smart
Yeah.
enough to know that. So, like, don't think that the film is necessarily itself. It's not making like a political
It's not
statement at
like
all. It's
13th would
about
be
the
something that is
people.
more strongly. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it articulates those ideas so brilliantly because of how stripped back it is, and because
Mhm.
again it chooses to focus on people, right? Because I just mentioned a lot of statistics, but like it makes it point like these people aren't statistics, they are actual people, and we can view statistics through the lens of like understanding their position, but in the end they are real people that are actually having to live in this system, in the carceral system. And it's just, again, as you said, like it's so cliche, but it is just really like a very deeply human story.
Well, I'll actually challenge you on that statistics just a teeny tiny bit, only because the statistics at the end, I think, are what make the story even more
That's
like
true.
poignant
That's
for me
true.
personally, because they discuss the fact that the persons, not just in that specific program, but in other daddy daughter dance programs for incarcerated people, that their rates of recidivism are just astronomically
Yeah.
lower. So clearly, like, that level of engagement and like just being treated like a human being, having
Right.
a connected relationship with their child and their family, and knowing what they're coming home to, creates a dramatically lower rate of recidivism. That is
Mhm.
some shit that changes an entire society of people.
Yeah.
Number one, lower recidivism, lower crime. Um, you have a family that is enriched by having an active and engaged parent. So you create a happier, healthier child that grows up to have happier, healthier relationships of their own, to raise their own child if they choose to have a child at some point. Like, this steamrolls into a better society for everyone. And this is regardless of like sex, gender, color, like all of it. Like, the idea that treating an incarcerated person like a human being can do what the system is supposed to do, which is rehabilitate people. It's
Hmm.
the lesson that we don't need to learn because we should know it in the first place. Like, that one
Hmm.
statistic, I will say, I felt like was
Yeah.
absolutely necessary for the movie.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, because like, is it like, surprise, surprise, when you treat humans like actual real people, rather than just disregarding them and treating them as less than human, then they are going to be able to rehabilitate better and integrate back into society better. And like, that is just it's a proactive approach, because everybody's like very obsessed with like crime, and it's like, well, just throwing a
Mhm.
bunch of more police officers at it isn't going to fix the crime. Policing isn't an inherently reactionary system. Cops don't prevent crime before it happens, they have to see the crime and then react to it. Like, how you actually genuinely systemically prevent crime is by helping people and getting them out of these situations and reducing recidivism rates and things like that, not by just put like increasing the reactionary force to the situation. And yeah, as you say, like, this is it's really, really poignant, really, really powerful. And as you say, like, if this is able to be widely seen, like, I mean, yeah, hopefully it is able
Oof.
to open up some people's mind and see, like, because again, it isn't like there are some really powerful statistics at the end, but it is also just about like these are like we need to be seeing incarcerated people as actual real people, and as you said, not just this bunch that we can just kind of homogenize into this one group.
Also, one of
So
my favorites was, like, the girl that was, like, the math prodigy. She was,
oh
like,
yeah,
she was so amazing, and I loved her so much.
yeah, but from a social commentary to your supposed social commentary, Gods of Egypt.
Yeah, we are making a hard pivot, but seriously though, like, if you guys have an
Watch Daughters.
opportunity in any way
Watch
to see
Daughters.
Daughters, it really is, like, and it's funny because strangely, it will make you sad, but it also will make you feel really good. Like,
Oh yeah, I
it
cried, but
it
it wasn't all
really is
sad
just
tears.
kind of like a good watch, like, just to, like, you're not gonna sit there and sob, but you're gonna walk away and be like, my heart feels, like, heavy but happy, kind of. So,
Mhm.
like, it's a good watch,
Yeah,
so you should watch it. But now,
absolutely.
yes,
Really.
so we assigned each other a film to watch that neither had seen before, and I chose
Yes.
Gods of Egypt for Trevor. As people probably know, because 'cause I've mentioned it a million times, this is a comfort movie for me. It is not a good film, in terms of its quality, but I've seen this movie, it's gotta be over 100 times. I'm not exaggerating, like,
Real.
every time I have surgery, I throw it on loop because I can just fall asleep to it. I can wake up to it and be like, "Oh, look at what they're doing now," and then I just go back to sleep or whatever. I know it by heart, I know it frame by frame, and it is just something, but my commentary about it is just simply that Hollywood, not even that very much long ago, thought that it was appropriate to cast almost entirely white actors that don't have any, or at least white presenting in, because obviously you don't necessarily always look like your ethnic background, but white presenting actors to play the gods of Egypt. That's a vibe.
I support it because it was funny that they did this. Right.
Okay, elaborate.
Um, no. So racist. No. I okay when funny. No,
It is
yeah,
funny.
it is funny, right? I I mean, I don't know if I've ever laughed harder in a film than when Jared Butler just shows up fully with a Scottish accent. It is just the funniest thing. I also love the height difference. It never stops being entertaining. The height difference between the gods and the people,
Yes.
like just incredible. Like unironically, this is like one of the funniest films ever made.
Oh, I'm so glad it
Um,
made you laugh.
it is. I yeah. It is so much. There's so many pieces of dialogue. I tweeted about it multiple times a few days ago. There's this one bit where like they're talking to one of the gods. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know a single character's name.
It's okay.
I was just enjoying the ride. They're talking to some fiery dog thing, and Chadwick Boseman is like answering riddles, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and then he's answering, and then like he answers it like I think incorrectly, and then someone comes over and is just like, "Oh, I always believed in you," and then it just cuts and you just get smacked across the face all the way across the room. And like it had to have been edited for comedy because the comedic timing is like perfect. There's also a bit where
Yeah,
like
Chadwick
the
Boseman, by the way, the only accurately or appropriately cast person in the whole movie. Buried, you barely see him. You see him for like 2 seconds in the first act, and then he just like
and he's
shows up
doing
at the beginning of the third act.
an accent and a half.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what he's doing. It's something. There's also a bunch
I
of
always
bits where
waited for
like
that Schmodown question, by the way. I was like, that's like a 3-pointer for sure, maybe a 5-pointer. Like, no one knows
yeah,
he's in that movie.
yeah, yeah. And that was 2016 too. That was that this was the same year as his first Black Panther appearance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I yeah. No, there's also a bunch of bits again, brilliant comedic timing where I wrote down one in particular where what somebody said like I need to fly and then all of a sudden this like
Mm-hmm.
winged boat just shows up behind them, and it's like they just like step out of the way and it's just there. um yeah, yeah. Why beyond comfort movie?
I mean, I don't know. Number one, like, of course, like my ancestry being connected is it's like I like things that celebrate that, even if it
Right, you came from
kind of
white gods, right?
yeah, of course, I came from the white gods. No, like okay, think about the difference between having like one of those my super sweet 16 birthday parties where like they spent like $350,000 on getting you your favorite musical artist to perform and like 250 friends are there. It's like the most posh food ever. You got given your dream card, blah blah blah. And then you have like a party at Little Caesars. Um like this movie, even though it's celebrating my culture, like Little Caesars party, at least I got a party. Like not many parties happen in Hollywood about Middle Eastern culture, and like North African. Sorry, MENA, like
Sure.
just MENA as a whole, because we're like kind of considered one group, but like North African slash Egyptian culture, and yeah, and also like it wasn't about North African slash Middle Easterners being villainous because, like, right
Mm,
now, especially, it seems like um, people that wear like those types of clothes or people that cover their hair are vilified in movies or they're like victims of abuse in movies if they're female.
yeah,
So it's
very
like
stereotyped.
that's kind of the only two ways that they show up, I feel like, in major motion pictures. So for this one where it's just like, nope, we're just gonna everyone there is just all part of this. There's nothing else happening, and it's basically a political infighting. It's a political family drama. It's Succession with, Egypt.
With weird CGI golden animal suits.
Yes.
Okay, wait.
Yeah. Come on,
Tangent.
Horace looked legit.
What?
Just admit it.
What? What? What animal? What golden animal would all of the Roy siblings become? Um. Okay. Roman is a pig. Uh,
All
I
right.
feel like Connor. What's like a boring animal? Um.
A possum?
Yeah. Connor's a golden possum suit. Um. I feel like Shiv is like should be. I mean, a snake. I feel like it's kind of obvious.
Could be. I was actually thinking like a bird of prey because like
Ooh, I
they're
like a
elegant
falcon
and they
maybe.
look yeah, and they look very like you could underestimate it, except it's like, "Oh no, I have talons
Yeah.
and my beak can like crush your bones."
Yeah. I feel like Kendall's just like a dog. Just like a yeah. I don't
A
know.
golden retriever,
I was
because
gonna say
it's funny
golden
actually.
retriever.
I was actually poking fun at a friend who was messaging me. Uh, uh, I couldn't help it, uh, but we always joke that that person, because they have a golden retriever, that if they
Mm,
were a dog, they would be a golden retriever. So,
yeah,
because like they're this person is actually very smart, but like their friend attitude is just like happy dumb sometimes.
sure.
So, but like Kendall is just like dumb dumb.
Dumb.
So yeah, I almost feel like it's
Yeah.
an insult to golden retrievers.
He is the
And
eldest boy, but
what about a
um,
Dalmatian? Dalmatians are just stupid.
yeah, yeah, some sort of dog. So we got a dog, a falcon, a pig, and a possum. Logan is like,
Yeah, Daddy Roy.
yeah, I mean, what's like really,
I almost want to say like a bull.
yeah, that could make sense. I could see that because cousin Greg is like a chipmunk or like a guinea pig. So yeah, I
Either
think most
that
of the main
or I don't
cast.
know why. I almost feel like Cousin Greg is like an emu.
Emu. Uh, yeah, but
Always
like what?
around, really big, and but just kind of like useless, like because he's
right,
a flightless
useless,
bird.
but like could be aggressive.
Yes,
Like,
they can.
yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. That's most of the main cast. I will say these are one of my
What
most
about
valued
Jerry?
possessions now. I have the Succession scripts, all 4
Very
seasons.
nice.
Oh, we forgot about Tom. We forgot about Tom. What's Tom? Tom is a cat.
Mm,
I get cat energy from Tom.
I could see that. For some
Yeah.
reason, I also saw llama energy from Tom.
Well, I was just thinking because like I'm just imagining like a cat like pretending to be friends with like a chipmunk and then just like beating it up with
Oh, yeah,
Greg
yeah.
or like
Oh, I
Emu.
like that.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
What's like
let's see.
Jerry? What's like the smartest like?
I mean, a dolphin is like one of the smartest animals on Earth.
I feel like that could check out. I feel like Jerry's a dolphin
Yeah.
because let's be real, Jerry's like the only intelligent person on the show, at
And
least in
she's
my
also so
opinion.
well put together all the time, and dolphins are very like sleek and live, you know?
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, like
that has
we never
been
see Jerry like a mess. Even when she's a mess, she's still
right
like put together and
there,
everything.
there. Yeah. Well, that has been
No one
Succession
asked for it,
characters
but we
as
did it.
golden Egyptian animal
They're like,
gods,
yeah.
as they all should be.
I love the sound
But
effects also, like when they do their like god form
oh my god, yeah,
transformation. It's
it's a lot. I couldn't get over. There were so many sequences whenever they'd go underground.
Mhm.
It looked like it was shot like PlayStation 3 video game.
Video game. Yeah.
Like, yeah, because like it's just like there's like the over the shoulder, and then it'll be the establishing, and it'll come back, and then you'll like walk down with them with like the hovering over the shoulder. Like that had to have been intentional, right?
I wonder if they ever thought about making a tie-in because honestly, that
Oh,
has video
absolutely.
game written all
Yeah.
over it.
100%. 100%. And it would have come out on like the Wii U and then been forgotten about. But
Ah,
like, yeah, no,
because like,
that like I
especially
mean,
him, like, going to try and steal, like, that whole sequence of, like, the jumping and the
mhm,
ducking and, like, climbing, like, that's
yeah,
video game
that's
stuff right
video game
there.
coded. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, this very much feels like a film that was like in the mid 2010s franchise boom when everybody thought that everything needed to become a franchise.
Yeah.
And they, yeah, and they just really, really wanted this to be a multimedia franchise, and it really, really wasn't.
Oops.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Um, yeah, no, it's just it's so much. There's so much like excessive slow-mo. I had to write down a line, which is one of my favorites. Where do you even get
Ooh.
that many scorpions? Just excellent. But
Oh, man.
yeah, no, I mean it is. Listen, people call this one of the like a worst film. I like it is fun. I would not call this a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think it has much merit to it, but I watched it twice.
I mean, it's also part of the little surge of Brenton Thwaites trying to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, he
What
and,
happened?
Kaya Scodelario, like, had that moment together where, like, they were gonna be, like, things, and then they both flashed in the pan and then sort of disappeared.
Where are they now? Are
I'm
they
sure
like
they're alive.
well, I'd hope. Um Brendan Thwaites. What happened to Brendan Thwaites? Is he like
I
working at a
don't know.
Waffle House now or something?
I mean,
Um
maybe.
Brendan
I could go for
Thwaites,
some cheesy eggs.
the last film he was in was in
Mm,
2020. So hasn't been a thing.
wow.
Hasn't been a thing for a while. Unless he's been in like a TV thing. But yeah. What happened to Alex Proyas, the director? Because like he did so like he did
Oh, they
iRobot, he did The Crow,
yeah, I was about to say
but
The Crow. I know that because of the movie trivia schmodown.
yeah, no, he hasn't. He's just made some short films since then. I don't know if he's made a feature. Yeah, he has not made a feature film since Gods of Egypt. Well, sorry, Alex. I think it killed his career. Again, unless he's doing TV
Caius
stuff.
Kaya Scodelario did what looks like a Hallmark-ish movie. Oh no, it's a Sky Cinema original, so I feel like that's even
Oh,
more.
wow. So
And then a
British
Prime
Hallmark.
Video movie. Oh, I forgot The King's Daughter was the last thing that she did that was, like,
Oh
sort of
my
big.
god, I forgot that movie was real.
Me
I
too.
watched
Man,
that
that
because of you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. No regrets.
I Oh, wow, what a film. Is that Pierce
Oh, yeah, and then
Brosnan?
Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Those were, like, the last 2 big things she did, and then Crawl, but that was
Can we
2019.
call them big? Are we gonna call Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City big?
They got theatrical releases, so I'll call them big enough.
Okay, okay. But,
Wow,
yeah,
yeah. Nothing.
nothing. I
Did
mean,
she dye her hair? Oh my god, she dyed her hair red. Oh my god, she has, like, a very Lindsay Lohan look about her.
wait. Oh, wow.
Right?
Very interesting.
Like, it's her,
Fascinating.
but it's not her.
Let's get her on the show.
Honestly, she seems delightful. I mean, and she's
Yeah,
super beautiful. Like, doesn't matter what color her hair is.
yeah. If anybody has a connection to Kaya,
Yeah.
reach out.
Plus, for all we know, her name is pronounced Kaya, and we're just being
Yeah,
assholes. So also let us
as we
know.
do. But, yeah, I don't know what else to say. What else to say about this film? It's so much. I mean, just the
It's a great,
editing
like, pizza,
is
popcorn, and should you be of legal age to ingest alcohol movie with friends movie. Like, it's just a silly, hokey, talk during it, like, make
yeah.
fun of it. Like, I wouldn't call it, like, Mystery Science Theater quality movie, but it's, like, amateur Mystery Science Theater quality movie.
What is, as somebody who cannot drink legally, the drinking game for this? What is the thing?
That you know what? Okay. That should be a thing that we incorporate for the show when we are doing a movie that we know is not very good because, like, for example, we are going to incorporate more, like, it's not gonna be bad movies. Some of them will be, like, popular, like, how on earth have you not seen this pop culture
Right. Some will
movement
be
movie?
great
And
movie,
some will be
like,
prestige movies.
or we could have one where, like, I pick, like, I don't know, a French New Wave film, and then Mara picks, like, something like this, or vice versa, where Mara picks, like, a brilliant film, and I pick, like, a Lego movie. Like,
But,
it could
like
be yeah,
oh, go
it
ahead,
could
sorry.
no, I was just saying, like, it can go either way. Most of these won't be planned as far as the double features, so, but yeah, no, if we're doing a bad film, we gotta do it. But what is the Gods of Egypt game? Is it every time they transform, maybe? I mean,
That
you'd
might
probably
be
be
good.
dead. You might be dead by the end of that, though.
Maybe. Um, but that should be a new thing though, when you know that you've given someone a movie that should have a drinking game, is you have to
Yeah.
think about what would be the
What should I
drinking game.
drink? What should I drink?
Um, Kombucha?
I've never had it.
Okay,
Can
so
I?
I never liked it. I always thought it smelled like feet, and I tried some here,
And
and
you're
it tastes
recommending this to
amazing.
me? Okay.
No, no, no,
So,
I tried
I'm
some
not
here.
going to be in
I'll text you a
Australia.
picture. I'll text you a picture of the bottle and see if they have it there.
Okay, okay.
Either that or, alkaline water, or, like, an enriched water, like a vitamin water.
Yeah.
Get your electrolytes.
Gonna drink some Gatorade. Well,
Whatever,
we could go
enriches your body experience.
so vague. That's so Oh god. Um, yes, I'll find something to enrich my body experience while I watch something. I don't know.
Either that or do it differently, like, for you, maybe it's like, some sort of a sweet or salty snack that you really like that's, like, tiny and handheld, and then you get to snack, because it's like an indulgence or something, so it's like,
Sure.
"Oh, I get my sweet snack," like,
I'm
I
I'm
get
I'm
my
down a pack of fruit snacks every single
there you
a full
go.
pack, not one, a full pack. Um, But yeah, no, I feel like it's gotta be every time they transform, or maybe just like, yeah, I don't know, Gerard Butler's accent. That would be a lot.
Or maybe
That'd
every
be a
time
lot
they
of fun.
say the name Horace, because
Horace, because what a name!
yeah.
Like
I mean, but they say
you,
the name Horace so many times, and it's like, yeah, we know he's on screen, bro. He's right there.
they don't make names like they used to. We need more Horaces.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
if
More
I
totes,
get
more sets.
a child,
Yeah.
not just have if I find one, if I grab one, their name will be Horse.
Nice.
I'll grab
So
one from the street.
this is the sequel to The Black Phone. Ethan Hawke's The Grabber sequel version is Trevor the Grabber.
Yes, I am the grabber,
Right with
and
you.
I will grab two children named
Yes.
Horace and
Set. Yeah.
Set
Like it.
like tennis. And
Yes.
then I will grab them, and then Ethan Hawke will be my husband. We will be the grabberers with our
Yes.
children.
The Grabbers sounds like a
A
sort of
band.
successful rap duo, but
Yeah.
it's like white rap, so it's like, is it okay?
They're from Philadelphia, and there's a lot of questions. So
I'm so glad that nothing has changed, by the way. Like, we've rehearsed nothing. We have in no way discussed how the show is going to go, but I'm so glad that is exactly what it used to be with no effort whatsoever.
right, exactly like it used to be. Not funny, but we think it is. So
Yes.
yes. Um, do we have anything else to say about Gods of Egypt, or should I grab more children?
That's going to go in the highlight reel for 2024 right at the
I
end, I
don't know.
think.
Can I say things like that? Because I am legally an adult now, so I don't know if I'm
There are
allowed to say things like that
repercussions.
anymore. I'm close enough
I
to
think
not.
that we need to move on to your movie because oh my god. Oh my god, Trevor.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
everybody, we're talking about Myra Breckinridge, um, a film from 1970. It is considered one of the worst films ever made. I would not call it
I don't
that,
know if I'd call it that. Yeah.
um, because if anything, it is fun. It is a lot of fun to watch. It is directed by Michael Sarn. This killed his career. It is adapted by a Gore Vidal novel. Gore Vidal called it like an embarrassment and one of the worst films he's ever seen. So that's cool. It stars Raquel Welch.
She's so beautiful.
You also have Mae West in this, who's just amazing. Also,
Mhm.
Tom Selleck's film debut,
Which is crazy.
which is wild. Playing a character by the name of Stud in The Men Corral.
Which
So
what a sentence. Ooh,
yeah,
hold on. That would be a great band name or a song name, Stud in the Man Corral. I
are
gotta
we
add that to my
that's
shared
by
Google
the
note.
Grabbers. That was their breakthrough hit.
Yes! Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I gotta add that in.
Stud in the Man Corral by the Grabbers. Their breakthrough hit. It broke them out of the underground Philadelphia scene. There were a lot of questions about who is this man, what is the corral, and still what are they grabbing. But it got them out. It got them out of Philadelphia.
I have a whole shared note with a friend, a different friend than the one I was talking about before, with kick-ass band names and also the name of my autobiography and now like random just like music stuff and names. So yeah, Stud in the Man Corral by the Grabbers. Yeah, their
Yeah.
debut hit single. There's some
They
really good
got
ones though. Like let's see, hold on. What's one of my favorites?
I
Um
don't know. You tell me.
uh Teddy Bear Picnic.
Okay. Okay. I'm imagining Mark Wahlberg singing this
Ooh.
right
Also
before
Kenny
he's
Chang's
racist.
Leaky
Sorry.
Butthole.
Okay. We're and who is that by?
Oh no,
Laura.
that's the band names. Those are the
Oh,
band
oh,
names.
this is the band names, not their songs. I thought that was a
Yeah.
song. Got it.
We also have Melon Roulette, which I like very much.
Seems it
Yeah,
feels similar to
we are
Lemonade,
Melon
no?
Roulette. Anyways,
Um,
sorry, we're off topic again. It's so easy to
no,
do.
we are. I will say the Grabbers have fallen off. I did like their earlier stuff.
Oh.
You know, since they've gotten commercial recently, it's been rough. Did you go to their tour?
You know, I funny, I can actually incorporate real life into this. I was
Oh,
recovering from having COVID again.
yeah. Congrats
Yeah, I got
on
COVID
getting it.
again semi recently, by the way, everyone. It was not joyful, but it was so much better than the first time. Thank goodness.
I still haven't gotten it, which is crazy.
I needed 1 day of straight up bed rest, just sleeping and doing nothing but sleep. And then I had a little bit of just a cough with some phlegm and a bit of a sore throat and just feeling tired. That was it. So
Wow.
it turns out having 7 vaccinations and, uh, you know, being a generally healthy eating person who treats my body well, and previously having had COVID once, that it's almost like science works, and
It's
that
almost
my
like you
body
get some
was better
phlegm.
prepared. Well, it's almost like my body was more prepared to fight COVID the second time. My God, surprising.
Yay. Wow.
But
We love phlegm.
but yeah, but that was why I missed. That was why I missed it. I was so sad.
Oh, you missed it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
didn't want to be a
I don't
super
know.
spreader.
I I don't know. I feel more comfortable going now. I'm not concerned about being grabbed. That I am not a child. But yeah, I don't know. I think it works. It's a shame that one of them got arrested for, pedophilia. But we're still here. There's only a
Ugh.
singular grabber now. It's just the grabber.
I mean,
Interesting that they
sometimes you
kept
can
the
make it
name.
work, but we'll
Interesting
see
that
what
they kept the name.
happens.
Um so making it work. Myra Breckinridge. Oh,
Man, they just start out like you just jump in.
yeah. So what this film is about, if I am to surmise,
Yeah, I think it's better that you do because
I've seen this film three
I
times.
yeah, I have seen it 1.5 times because I kind of had to go back and just scroll through some key parts.
That's fair. So Myra Breckinridge is a film about um, a person who initially found out is going over gender affirming surgery, transition to become Myra. They're going by the name Myra now, right? And they're getting surgery to physically reflect their gender identity. They previously went by the name of Myron, which is important because they then decide to go to a acting school that is run by their uncle named Buck, and Myra claims that she is the widow of her ex-husband Myron, and that she is to be left $500,000 or half of the school, as according to her will and all of that. And then the movie happens.
Yeah, because
Quite,
like he
quite
doesn't want to give her any of that right away. So she's like,
right,
"Well, I'm just gonna stick around and I just live here
and she
and work here
teaches.
now."
Right,
Yeah.
and she teaches. So there are musical numbers in this. Also, throughout the film, it incorporates films from like old Hollywood because Myra's like very into like old Hollywood and film and everything like that. Which again, it felt very ahead of its time as far as how it was constructed and edited. Like very, very postmodern for the 1970s. And almost meta modern in some ways in the ways that it was incorporating films. Like it felt like a YouTube video or like a TikTok at points with some of its editing sensibilities.
Like, it was almost like to give, like, something relatable, it was like Family Guy cutaways almost.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
it would reference exactly what was happening. Granted, it was more referencing, like, the character's internal monologue or, like, the event directly as it happened would be happening from the old film, but, like, the way it would just cut away and then seamlessly go back to exactly what was happening was kind of a little reminiscent of, like, what Family Guy used to
Yeah.
do. So if you were kind of wondering what we're talking about, that would be an example.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to talk about spoilers because it's from 1970. And also, even if you do know spoilers to this film, it is still worth it's still an experience. It won't matter if you know spoilers.
You need to
Um,
watch this if you've never seen it, because it's just
yeah.
it's one of the single-handedly most unique films I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah. So so basically Myra's just like there now and she's teaching and there's an incredible line which is she's driving into Hollywood and she goes my purpose in coming to Hollywood is the destruction of the American man in all its particulars. Which is just brilliant line. Rockwell Welch is like phenomenal in this. I genuinely think her performance is amazing. But yeah, so then she's just in Hollywood. Uh and there's another quote which I'm gonna read. There's some amazing lines in here. So this line here that she says she's here with the intention of the destruction of the last vestigial traces of the traditional manhood in the race in order to realign the sexes, thus reducing population while increasing human happiness and preparing for its next stage. So basically, she's just like a violent gender abolitionist, which cool. I
I would say
again
the way that she goes about it, questionable.
questionable, very questionable. Again, the ideas the film is playing with, very ahead of its time. The way it
Yeah.
addresses its theses, very behind the time.
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah,
especially though, I find it interesting though, in a way that it actually kind of becomes gender equal when at the near the end where she's like also trying to effectively destroy I feel so bad I forget her name, but the girlfriend as well. She's like, I also need to destroy her as well
Marianne,
because I need to just
Marianne,
yeah,
yeah,
I need to destroy the man and the woman. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow, okay. Good for you,
yeah.
Myra. I mean, not that I'm rooting for this, like, because I shouldn't, but I also am kind of.
Yeah, yeah, because she becomes obsessed with this couple, Rusty and Marianne, who are, I think, her students,
Yes.
and um,
Or
uh,
at least Rusty
and
certainly is, because Marianne's, like, only there because of Rusty, basically, whether she's a
right,
student or not.
exactly, exactly. So Myra is like basically like they embody all of the traits of traditional American gender norms, which is why she must destroy them.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and they're,
so
like, quintessential, like, he's a tall, handsome, like, strapping Southern accent dude, and she's, blonde-haired, light-skinned, all put together and teeny tiny, like,
yeah,
they look exactly like the quintessential, at that time, what would be an idealized hetero couple.
exactly, yeah. So all while this is happening, there's Letitia, played by the phenomenal Mae West, who has her stable, quite literally, of uh young men, which is just her jock stud stable. This is where Tom Selleck comes in. And it's just these men. She's like a casting agent who seduces men. And it is, if you think about it, kind of weird, obviously predatory, but also very funny. The way that she and like the costume design as well is like phenomenal in this film. But yeah, so that's all happening at the same time. Myra does some incredibly questionable things to Rusty. Um yeah. Um
I'm
and
never ever
then
gonna get a back brace, I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
that is that is fair. Um, and and then yeah, so then it's they're trying to figure out that like if Myra is actually like who says she says she is, and Buck, her uncle, brings in Uncle Buck brings in this like investigator lawyer person to say that there's no record of her husband dying or the marriage or anything like that. At which point she
But
just
she's
completely
always ready. She's like, "I
yeah.
got this. I was married in
Oh yeah.
Mexico, bitch. And then I've got
Yeah.
this well-respected guy that's gonna say that he was at my wedding, bitch." Sorry.
Yeah.
But
And then eventually she just gets up on the table and strips. Um
yes, she does.
which is wild, incredible, iconic. Um and also again from like looking at this from like it's hard to look at this film from like contemporary gender politics because it's just but like again it's also just it doesn't make it like the entire plot point hinging on like, oh, are they gonna find out that she's trans? It's just like completely owns it. Like it isn't like this thing. It comes at it almost like as a triumphant thing rather than like this like scary thing. Like, oh, she's trans, right? Which again, kind of ahead of its time. The way that it does it, I don't know, but in theory, ahead of its time. So basically, Myra still is like going after Marianne and really, really wants Marianne now, lesbian queen. And then Marianne's like, oh, I really love you, but I wish that you were a man, right? And then she's runs tries to chase her down in a car, crashes the car, and then at the end it is revealed that in the hospital the surgery waking up was not a gender affirmation surgery but actually recovery from the car crash. The nurse is Marianne, and then there's a magazine article on Raquel Welch. um
I did not see
Wild
that
ending.
coming at all.
And like I feel like it can feel cheap. However, I have something to say. I feel like this is a very wild but like kind of I don't know, feels almost genuine portrait and depiction of gender dysphoria. And like how you process in your own mind, like the wild things that you could process in your own mind, and like the chaos, and like how nothing feels entirely like linear with like the editing or anything, and like all the wild cutaways, and like the manifestation of what you want to be. Because I read this as this character is actually trans and feeling like intense gender dysphoria, and is just not out or reckoned with that part of themselves yet. And this is just like a manifestation of gender dysphoria within their mind.
I mean, I think that definitely tracks, especially just given how they told that story. Like,
Yeah.
it just seemed way too positive in terms of, like, how Myra presented herself, even if some of her actions were, again, questionable at best, but like, the pride and the happiness that she felt being her authentic self, like,
Yeah.
never not once did she reflect on, you know, her life prior to in a way that felt like she was finally who she was the entire time, just finally
Right.
on the outside as well. And
Exactly. I mean, it opens with like this incredible, like after like the surgery sequence, it opens with like this incredibly like euphoric like dance sequence all throughout, like where like Rockwell is Myris is like dancing through like this like town and everything, and like I don't know, I think that like all of the abstractness and like non congruent and linear editing in the random cutaways like are just a reflection of just like the you know just the incredibly like scattered mind that can come from like you know dealing with and processing your own identity to that level of intensity.
well, and also it kind of rationalizes some of the more spectacular and fantastical parts of the story where it's like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I buy that because it's a film, but now you're like, oh, I guess I buy that because it's someone's brain. So it doesn't
Right.
matter if it makes complete and total sense, or
Right.
how on earth could she have gotten out of this one, or how on earth could she have accomplished that one. Um, and also, it's it also kind of makes sense because in that time it was so, so, so difficult as a person who was trans to be able to transition and be your authentic self. So,
To be fair, it
like,
still is
living
now, I
out
would say,
that.
but even more then.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But, like, being able to live out that fantasy, like, that idealized version in your head,
Hmm.
that kind of tracks, like, the idea that it's a dream didn't feel cheap to me at all,
No,
like,
absolutely.
personally.
Like, I don't know, it's considered like one of the worst films ever made, and like all these types of things. And like I can see how this can be read as incredibly transphobic because like
Oh
you
yeah,
know
I could see
there
that too.
there are
They
definitely moments, but I don't know. I feel like at least how I read the film, and again, whether this
well,
was
and
even intentional.
homophobic specifically
Oh
also.
yeah, very homophobic, right? Yeah, but homophobia is funny. So, like I'm I can say that I'm gay. Homophobia can be funny, right? We should bring back using gay as a derogatory term, I think, personally. But I think it's really funny to just like point at them and be like, that's gay as a negative. Like, oh, your shoes are gay. I don't know. I think it's funny. Anyways, but yeah, we can definitely read this film as transphobic. But how I read the film, whether this was intentional or not, it did genuinely feel like this like kind of euphoric celebration and this like representation of the non-linear and non-congruency that can come with a incredibly dysphoric mind.
Yeah, and I like that though, like the subjectivity of film, you know?
Yeah,
Like, because when
exactly.
you first told me about it, you were like, "This movie is both a incredibly potentially transphobic movie or it's like a trans anthem." And I was like,
Yeah,
"I don't understand."
yeah. But
And
like
now
it,
I
it
understand it.
it really is. And like if you hate this movie, I fully understand why. Like there's a lot to hate in this movie, but I don't know. I really personally do just read it as like this intense like this reflection on like intense dysphoria and gender dysphoria and the euphoria that can come with like kind of amending that. And I think it's like kind of brilliant, I guess. Like I think it's like really funny. I think that like formally how it tackles that like is like kind of excellent. I don't know. I think it's kind of like a fantastic film. But
I think you should do this, like, if there's ever an opportunity in one of your film classes, like, if it's appropriate, like, given the
mhm.
context of an assignment or, like, a discussion topic in class, you should bring up this movie because there's so much to piece and, like,
Oh,
pull
there's so
apart
much.
in it. Like,
Mhm.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
kinda cool.
No,
Plus, also,
absolutely, yeah.
it would it's also impressive just in general, your familiarity with it, like, it's very obscure, but it has a
Nobody's
lot
seen this
like
movie.
it's obscure, but not in the way where it's like, "Oh, I'm aware of a movie that no one has seen because it's literally it has no one that's recognizable in it, it's made by no one, and
Yeah.
it contributes nothing to the greater context of cinema." But no, like, this is all of those things. So,
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'd be interesting. You
No,
should
like,
do
I mean,
that.
there are significant names in the I mean, Rocco Welch, right? Like, Mae West, like, there are names in this cast. I mean, it's doing a lot. I mean, it has costumes done by, like, multi, like, Academy Award winners. Um, like, yeah, there's a lot here, and again, even with us already talking about this, if you haven't seen the film, like, there's still a lot that you are not experiencing, even if you know a bit of the plot. Like, there's still so much more for you
Yeah.
to it truly is an experience, this film. And yeah, I don't know. I love it. You have any other takeaways after I've subjected you to this?
I mean, not not really. It it really was something. I was not prepared. Like, especially because when you jump into it, it okay, I encourage people so, this movie is on YouTube, that is how I was able to
Yes.
watch it. So, I mean, you can watch it, like, you don't have to worry about, like, going and renting it somewhere or buying it, so you can watch it.
It's only 90 minutes. Like,
Excuse
it's
me.
very yeah.
But watch 2.5 minutes of it. Just watch 2.5 minutes, you will have a vibe, you will have a pretty good idea of, like, the vibe of the movie, but I was, like, immediately in an all caps sort of a mindset, like, "What is this?
Yeah.
What is this?" Especially the, like, stand-up applause part, I'm like,
Yes,
"What?"
it's so good.
Well, and the "I've never done this before." I was like, "Oh my god, what are we doing? Why are we doing it like this? I don't think that this is definitely not gonna go well."
Yeah. And I don't
My
know,
god.
it's like the comedy is it takes a second to get on the wavelength of the comedy, but if you're
It
able
does.
to match the wavelength, it is so funny.
It really is.
Like it is high camp, like high camp.
Well, in the
Um,
dialogue, it's very quippy too. It's actually
oh yeah.
like very
I mean,
quick-witted.
there's so many sequences where something will happen, and then it will just like cut to a tight close up to somebody, and then they'll say somebody, say something like quippy, and then we'll just move on, and then you're just left like, "What was that actually what was just said?" Yeah, it's a I don't know, it's an easy film to talk about because there's a lot to talk about, but also a hard film to talk about because it is yeah, it's just an experience. So mm, watch it? Question
Yeah.
mark? Watch it.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the description since it is free on YouTube. Yeah, watch it tentatively.
Yes. We should maybe
Well,
make a scale where it's like we'll come up with maybe like a gradients of 5 or something where it's like, "Oh, yeah, like, watch it." Where it's like, "I won't watch it." Then like, "Watch it?" And then, "No, like, don't
don't
ever
watch it
do
and then
this."
don't.
Yeah.
And then simply no. Um,
Yeah, so
so
that was a watch it?
that was a watch it? uh, and that was The Basement, and you watched it. If
We
you're
did a
still
thing.
here. We did a thing. Um, yeah, and yeah, this will be a thing that will continue to happen. Hopefully you like the format and our conversation. If not, you probably aren't still listening at this point. So if you are, then you probably do. Next episode. We are going to
Yes.
be announcing the next episode at the end of each one. So that way you have a chance to watch it. I'll also probably put it up on Twitter and tell Mara to retweet it so that way you can see it.
Yeah. Watch along with us so that way you can, like,
Yes,
get a
participate.
vibe for all of these things and be like, "What did they do to one another?"
Yeah, what did we force each other to do? So this will be every single Saturday we'll have these. But Mara, would you like to share what you are selecting for me?
Yes, I was actually I almost was certain that you had seen this, but then I was like, "No, wait, I'm certain he hasn't." And Dan said, "No, there's no way he hasn't." But I chose Jackie Brown for you.
Yes, one of my Tarantino blind spots, which I've been told Tarantino is incredibly hot and cold for me. Love like for example, love Reservoir Dogs. Not a very big fan of Pulp Fiction, and it is all on that scale. Like there's some that I really like, some that I really dislike. I've been told by a lot of people that Jackie Brown will be my favorite, or at least very high up my ranking based off of my taste.
I think
Um,
so because I think it's his most well-written movie, and I
yeah,
think that you will appreciate that.
for sure, for sure. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to it. Um, I have chosen for you the 19 I have it sitting right here. The 1977 horror classic House by
I'm
Obayashi.
so excited.
Um one of it's like the haunted house film. It is ridiculously like bizarrely funny, and then also if you like think about the way that it is using its metaphors, one of the most like devastatingly sad things you've ever seen. Um, it is
Oh.
brilliant. It is incredible. I after okay, are you familiar with the filmmaker Kogonada? He made After Yang in Columbus,
Oh,
the
oh, well,
feature
then
film.
yes.
Okay, yeah, one of my favorite filmmakers like working today. So he got to start doing video essays that are incredible. I would very highly recommend watching Kogonada's video essays. If you just go to his website, they're all there. They're on Vimeo. They're like 5 minute. I mean, they're basically like short films, and they're edited like in such an interesting way. Like he has a very distinct style. I think the best video essayist like out there.
Wow.
But he did one on House. He does a lot of collaborations with the Criterion Collection, where on their
Ooh.
Blu-rays for particular films, they will include a video essay that he created as a companion to the film. And a lot of them are also available online. But I would after you watch this movie, let me know, and I'm going to send you Kokonada's video essay on House because it is
Nice.
excellent and makes like an incredible companion piece of film. It's like 5 minutes long. So yes, I have chosen House, and you have chosen Jackie Brown. So our next episode will be House and Jackie Brown. I don't think that they connect in any way, but yeah, that's gonna be the next episode. You can watch along if you'd like. anything that you'd like to leave the basement dwellers with?
We
It
should
feels
come up
weird
with
to
a
call
better
them
name.
the name. Yeah, the people, the people.
Yes.
Don't know where I'm going with that. Anything you'd like to leave them with?
For everybody that's probably, I imagine, listening from the United States or Canada, which is most people, maybe perhaps some in the
Mhm.
United Kingdom because
That is where
you have
most
some
people
fans
are.
there. Um, Sorry that it's cold, but it's summer down here and I'm loving it. So sorry. Sorry, not
I
sorry.
am. I'm not in Illinois. It's not pleasant. Um, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. This was
We're
awesome,
always
though.
we're always
We'll
very
get
bad at
into a good
ending these
rhythm.
things. Yeah, we
No,
have
we're
to get
fine.
back
We're good.
into it. We're okay. We had 16 months off. We need our recovery time. But yeah, yeah, we're back for better or worse. Probably worse, but sometimes better.
Sometimes
And
better.
this has been Basement. We're gonna call it episode 1. It's season 2. It's the reboot. This is our fan forced era, but hopefully better. And
I think I think I can say that safely. I've managed to get less studio interference than Josh Trank did. So, because that wasn't his fault.
It was not. It was not. And his Letterboxd review of his own film was fantastic. If you have not given it a read, but yes, this has been the end of the Basement episode 1, and we will be back for episode 2 next week. But until then, thank everybody for watching, and goodbye.
Bye. Peace out.